Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz. Today is Friday, November 6th, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today, we have a lot to discuss. First, there may have been a Google algorithm update on November 4th. We learned a little bit more about what Google DeepRank is all about. And Gary from Google went deep on dupe detection. Before we start, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Loud Interactive, a Chicago-based SEO firm led by Brent D. Payne. Please make sure to check them out. Okay, before we get to the actual Google algorithm update, first I wanted to let you know that I posted the monthly Google Webmaster report. It's the report where I summarize all the more important things that happened over the past 30 days or so with Google and Webmaster related topics. I'm not going to go through it all, but there was the Search On 2020 event where the Google discussed BERT being 100%, passes indexing, which is really about rankings, and a bunch of other things that happened, including lots and lots of bugs. So if you want to catch up with what happened over the past month, definitely take a look at that. Around the Google algorithm updates, around November 3rd or so, I started noticing some chatter, some rumblings in the SEO community. But on November 4th, there was definitely a spike in terms of that chatter throughout November 5th, and even as of this morning, on November 6th. There's definitely some chatter, definitely some signals showing there's ranking changes. Lots of chatter. It's not at the levels of what we would call a core update or the old penguin or panda updates, but there's definitely a lot of chatter there. Most of the tools, not all the tools, but most of the tools are showing blips, disturbances in the force I was calling it yesterday. So there definitely seemed to be something that happened. I'm not sure if it was some type of bug or whatever, but if you did notice changes around November 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you are definitely not alone. Google went ahead and talked about in a video their internal codename for what their BERT launch was. So BERT launched October 2019, so over a year ago now, in the search results. And as we discussed, it's 100% live as of, for almost all queries BERT's used now. I suppose when it first launched, it was about 10% of all queries, but now it's 100% of all queries. Now, Google released a video, which is an amazing, amazing video, discussing how search works. And one of those parts of the video was Google showing how they actually went ahead and launched BERT in the search results. They've created a team. That team codenamed that project DeepRank. And it was basically their job to kind of see, could BERT actually help improve search? And over weeks and weeks of testing, months maybe, I don't even know how long it was because the movie really didn't describe it, they called this team DeepRank. And they were able to successfully show at a launch meeting how it actually really did improve search results, and that actually launched. So it was very interesting. Again, DeepRank is basically the code name for Google's internal team for implementing BERT into the search. With that, there was an amazing video, which I actually posted about on Saturday night. I thought it was a great video to watch with your family about how search works. It goes through tons and tons of things, not just around DeepRank, but also around Google's UI changes, ranking changes, data centers, spam, search quality, evaluations, EAT it touches on, testing, misinformation in search, BERT and machine learning, like I discussed, and so much more. It really gives you an overview of how Google works and what we do as SEOs and how we interact with Google. So they even have a whole section about SEO and spam. So definitely take a look at that. It's really fun to watch. It was really, it was a good movie. It was well worth time watching it over the weekend or whatever. We discussed passage indexing last week, but John Mueller was asked about it in a video, and he basically gave us 3 points. He basically said, 1, somebody asked if it's related to core updates, and the answer is no. 2, again, it's not about indexing, it's about ranking. And the third thing is he really kind of touched on how to optimize for passage indexing. And you really can't optimize for it, he said. It's basically Google's way of better pulling out content from pages that are not optimized, that are not well structured, to pull out content from there. So it was interesting the way he said that, because he's not basically saying you need to do anything to rank better for when passage indexing comes out, hopefully by the end of the year. What Google's doing is it's getting better at understanding pages that are not structured in a way that Google can pick it up. Interesting little take there. Of course, headers and all that type of stuff are important. Just make your site really easy to read. Gary from Google on the latest Search Off the Record podcast went really, really deep on how Google does duplicate content detection, dupe detection he usually calls it, and canonicalization. In short, and a lot of programmers understand this, they look at the web and every page is given a checksum number, which is a unique number. It's kind of like a fingerprint for that page. It's based on basically the content of that page, and Google's able to give some type of checksum to the main core content of the page. And if then the checksums match across multiple pages, then the dupe filter happens or the dupe detection happens. And then Google goes and figures out which page should they rank. Should they rank page A or page B or page C that are all a duplicate? Then Google uses multiple methods in canonicalization to figure that out. Obviously redirects and canonical tags, but also page rank and content quality and all this other stuff. So it's a very interesting conversation. Definitely take a look at that. I posted about it on November 4th. John Mueller talked about out of stock products, unique in that products that never go back in sale. So if it's one-off products, you make a art piece of jewelry that's only made once and sold once and never ever made again. Maybe they'll make something similar to it, but it's unique. And John Mueller said, you really shouldn't put out of stock on those pages. You should probably pull them off your e-commerce section and make an archive section, maybe a gallery for those products. So that was interesting. Google's Danny Sullivan went back and forth with one travel blogger explaining or trying to explain why maybe her rankings were higher in the past X months or so, but yet the clicks and impressions in Search Console were down. And maybe because he said people are searching for travel less, maybe clicking on travel results less because of COVID, or maybe because of the date on the page. So it's really interesting to see that conversation. What Glenn Gebb found was basically there's a feature snippet which kind of sourcing your images and people aren't really clicking on those images. So that's one of the things that may have been as well. So it's a very interesting conversation. Definitely take a look at that. Interesting to see Google actually respond in detail. John Mueller said that home pages could outrank internal pages if Google finds that home page to be really, really weighted higher, or more important than the internal pages. Now, you don't really necessarily want your deeper pages to not rank for those keywords, but sometimes that happens and it's not unusual, and that could change over time. We've seen that change over time, but it's interesting to see Google's respond to that question. It's not a new question, but it's interesting to see Google respond to that question. So we've covered the past couple of weeks, I think, that data vocabulary structured data format is still active, even though Google supposedly sunsetted back in first April and then June. But now Google said, no, it's still working, but for real, really this time we're going to go ahead and sunset it on January 31st, 2021. So if you're still using it, that's your last deadline to actually go ahead and update that. Google Search Console posted a data anomaly with another misclassification of data in Search Console data. Specifically, Google said a previous issue in which discovered data was misclassified as video in performance report has been fixed. Because of this, you may see a drop in discover report video appearance statistics. This misclassification didn't affect your search results. It just affected the reporting in Search Console. So keep that in mind if you see weird data there. Elena Solis went ahead and posted a Twitter poll asking what SEOs do around paid tools. So what's your annual budget? Most people spend less than $13,000 a year on paid tools, and most people use between 2 and 4 SEO tools, and you'll see the results as I post them in the video. Google is testing short video carousel box. So instead of just a video carousel box, a short video carousel box, which you can see over here. Google is testing a black search bar header. We've seen the black search bar itself, but the actual search bar tools, Google is testing a black version as well. So that's pretty cool. Microsoft Advertising has launched for the holiday shopping season new promotion extensions where you're able to go ahead and enter in the occasion, promotion type and promotion items, promotion details, and display start and end dates. So that's pretty cool to have for advertisers. Google Ads has added a new ability to actually create a new Google Ads add-on for Google Sheets, so you can actually quickly import your data to Google Sheets, as well as a new link to Ads Data Hub for better integration with your data. And also Google Ads announced that target spend setting will sunset as of January 2021 for the maximize clicks. So if you're using maximize clicks campaigns, the target spend setting will go away as of January 2021. The Google Product Expert Virtual Summit, which they usually do in person now, has to be virtual because of COVID, happened last week. Mihai went ahead and did this really detailed post behind the scenes of what happened. He got approval to post it, so if you're interested in taking a look at that, definitely take a look at that. A really great post about what happened at the product summit. And I decided to ask SEOs because it was election week. Election day was Tuesday. Still don't know who's president, but I asked SEOs who they voted for. If they voted, take the poll, and we have well over 1,000 results. And so far, it's looking like 75% of SEOs voted for Biden and 25% of SEOs voted for Trump. So if SEOs were voting for the next president of the United States of America. It looks like Biden would win. In any event, thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable, SEOroundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is Friday, November 6th. And thanks to Loud for sponsoring. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Goodbye.